You are not what you have. You are not what you do. You are not even what people think you are. You are what you think you are, and right now, in this very moment, you have the power to change everything about your relationship with abundance, prosperity, and wealth. The energy that surrounds you, the invisible field that some call your aura, is broadcasting a signal every single second of every single day. That signal is either attracting wealth into your life or pushing it away. And here's the beautiful truth that will set you free. You get to decide what that signal says. Most people spend their entire lives believing that wealth is something outside of themselves. They think it's in the bank account, in the stock market, in the real estate, in the business deal. But wealth begins inside you. It starts with your consciousness. It starts with the way you see yourself and the way you see the world. If you walk around feeling poor, feeling lacking, feeling like there's never enough, then that's exactly what you're going to create more of in your life. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. Change what's happening inside, and you will absolutely, without question, change what's happening outside. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but I have bills to pay. I have debt. I have obligations. I can't just think my way into wealth. And you're right about one thing. Thinking alone won't do it, but thinking is where it starts. Because you cannot behave in a way that's inconsistent with the way you see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with money, you will find ways to struggle. If you see yourself as someone who is abundant, who is prosperous, who is connected to the infinite source of all supply, then you will start to behave in ways that are consistent with that vision. And that's when everything changes. Your aura, this energy field that extends from your body, is like a radio station. It's broadcasting a frequency, and the universe responds to that frequency. If you're broadcasting fear, anxiety, and scarcity, you're going to attract more situations that make you feel fearful, anxious, and scarce. But if you start broadcasting confidence, gratitude, and abundance, you're going to start attracting opportunities, people, and circumstances that match that vibration. This isn't mystical nonsense. This is how energy works. This is how consciousness works. This is how life works. Let me tell you something about the universe that most people don't understand. The universe doesn't care about your current circumstances. It doesn't care how much money is in your bank account right now. It doesn't care about your past failures or your present struggles. The universe only responds to the signal you're sending out right now, in this present moment. And that signal is determined by your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. If you want to train your aura to attract wealth, you have to start by changing the conversation you're having with yourself about money. Listen to the words you use when you talk about wealth. Do you say things like, I can't afford that? Do you say, money doesn't grow on trees? Do you say, rich people are greedy? Every single one of those statements is training your aura to repel wealth. Every single one of those beliefs is broadcasting a signal that says, I don't want prosperity. I don't deserve abundance. Keep money away from me. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, says, your wish is my command, and keeps wealth at arm's length. But what if you started saying different things? What if you started saying, I am open to receiving wealth from expected and unexpected sources? What if you started saying, there is more than enough for everyone, including me? What if you started saying, I am worthy of prosperity and abundance? Do you feel the shift in energy when you say those words? That's your aura changing. That's your frequency rising. That's your signal getting clearer and stronger. Now, let's talk about gratitude, because this is one of the most powerful tools you have for training your aura to attract wealth. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you're telling the universe, I recognize the abundance that's already in my life. And when you recognize the abundance that's already here, the universe sends you more things to be grateful for. This is the law of attraction in its purest form. Like attracts like. Abundance attracts abundance. Gratitude attracts more reasons to be grateful. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think they'll be grateful when they have more money. They think they'll feel abundant when the bank account grows. They think they'll relax about finances when all the bills are paid. But that's backwards. You have to feel grateful now. You have to feel abundant now. You have to feel prosperous now with exactly what you have in this moment before the universe can bring you more. If you're waiting to feel good about money until you have more of it, you're going to be waiting forever, because the feeling comes first and then the manifestation follows. So right now, stop and think about what you're grateful for. Maybe it's the roof over your head. Maybe it's the food in your refrigerator. Maybe it's the ability to read these words. Maybe it's the fact that you woke up this morning with another chance to create the life you want. Whatever it is, feel it. Really feel the gratitude in your body. Let it fill your chest. Let it radiate out from your heart. That feeling, that's the beginning of training your aura to attract wealth. That feeling is changing your frequency right now. Let me share something with you that changed my entire relationship with money. I realized that the universe is abundant by nature. Look around you. Nature doesn't do scarcity. When an apple tree produces apples, does it produce just enough? No, it produces hundreds of apples, and each apple contains dozens of seeds, and each seed can produce another tree that produces hundreds more apples. That's abundance. That's the nature of the universe. Scarcity is a human invention. Scarcity is a belief system that we've been taught, that we've inherited, that we've accepted as truth. But it's not true. There is more than enough. There always has been. There always will be. When you align yourself with this truth, when you really get it in your bones that the universe is infinitely abundant, your entire energy field shifts. You stop competing. You stop hoarding. You stop operating from fear. You start operating from trust. You start operating from faith. You start operating from the knowing that there's plenty for everyone, and that includes you. This shift in consciousness is what trains your aura to attract wealth. Because when you're not desperate, when you're not needy, when you're not coming from a place of lack, you become magnetic to prosperity. Now, I want to talk about something that might be uncomfortable for some of you, but it's essential if you want to transform your relationship with wealth. You have to look at your beliefs about rich people. You have to look at your beliefs about money itself. If you have any resentment toward wealthy people, if you think that money is the root of all evil, if you believe that you have to sacrifice your integrity to become prosperous, then you are sabotaging your own abundance. Because how can you attract something that you're judging? How can you become something that you resent? Money is not good or bad. Money is neutral. Money is energy. It's a tool. It's a resource. It amplifies who you already are. If you're generous, money makes you more generous. If you're kind, money makes you more kind. If you're selfish, money makes you more selfish. The money itself isn't the problem. The problem is when people have a poverty consciousness and they think that having money will solve all their problems. It won't. The only thing that will solve your problems is changing your consciousness. Change your consciousness and the money will follow. But more importantly, change your consciousness and you won't need the money to feel whole, complete, and worthy. This is a critical point, so I'm going to say it again. You cannot attract wealth from a place of believing that you need it to be happy, because that belief contains within it the energy of lack. You're saying, I'm not enough without money. I'm not happy without money. I'm not complete without money. And the universe hears that and says, okay, you're not enough, you're not happy, you're not complete. And it gives you more experiences of not being enough, not being happy, not being complete. This is why so many people who come into sudden wealth through lottery winnings or inheritance end up back where they started or worse. Because they never change their consciousness. They never train their aura to match the frequency of true abundance. True abundance is an inside job. It's a state of being. It's a way of moving through the world. It's knowing that you are connected to the source of all supply, and that source is infinite. When you know this, really know this, you don't grab at money. You don't chase it. You don't obsess over it. You allow it. You welcome it. You receive it with grace and gratitude. And here's the paradox. When you stop chasing money, it starts chasing you. When you stop making it your God, it starts showing up as your servant. Let's talk about the practical side of this, because I know some of you are thinking, this all sounds good, but what do I actually do? Here's what you do. You start each day by setting your intention. Before you get out of bed, before you check your phone, before you start worrying about all the things you have to do, you take a few moments to align your energy with abundance. You say to yourself, I am open to receiving all, the good that the universe has for me today. I am a magnet for prosperity. I expect miracles. I expect synchronicities. I expect abundance to flow to me in expected and unexpected ways. Then throughout your day, you pay attention to your thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking thoughts of lack, thoughts of fear, thoughts of I can't afford this or there's not enough, you stop. You don't judge yourself. You don't beat yourself up. You simply notice the thought and then you choose a different thought. You say, that's an old pattern. That's the old me. The new me thinks differently. The new me knows that there's more than enough. The new me trusts in the abundance of the universe. This takes practice. You've been thinking the old thoughts for years, maybe decades. You've been running the old programs for so long that they feel normal. But they're not serving you. They're keeping you stuck. And the beautiful thing is that you can change them. Right now, in this moment, you can decide that from this point forward, you're going to train your mind to focus on abundance instead of lack. You're going to train your emotions to feel prosperous instead of poor. You're going to train your aura to broadcast a signal of wealth instead of scarcity. And here's something else you need to understand. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. If you want to attract wealth, you have to become the kind of person who has wealth. You have to think like that person. You have to feel like that person. You have to act like that person. This doesn't mean you go out and spend money you don't have. This doesn't mean you pretend to be someone you're not. This means you align your consciousness with the consciousness of abundance. You start seeing opportunities where you used to see obstacles. You start seeing possibilities where you used to see problems. You start seeing abundance where you used to see lack. One of the most powerful ways to train your aura to attract wealth is to give. Now, I know this seems counterintuitive. You're thinking, I don't have enough for myself. How can I give to others? But giving is the ultimate statement of abundance. When you give, you're saying to the universe, I have more than enough. I trust that more is coming. I know that I'm connected to an infinite source. And the universe responds to that faith, to that trust, to that knowing. It says, yes, you are abundant. Here's more. This doesn't mean you give away money you need for rent or food. This means you give from a place of joy, from a place of overflow, even if that overflow is small. Maybe you give $1 to someone who needs it more than you do. Maybe you give your time to a cause you believe in. Maybe you give a genuine compliment to a stranger. Maybe you give a smile to someone who looks like they're having a hard day. Every act of giving raises your vibration. Every act of generosity trains your aura to attract more abundance. And when you give, pay attention to how you feel. If you feel resentful, if you feel like you're giving because you should or because you have to, then that's not true giving, that's obligation. True giving feels good. True giving feels expansive. True giving makes you feel more abundant, not less. When you can give with that feeling, when you can give with joy and gratitude, you're broadcasting a powerful signal to the universe. You're saying, I am prosperous, I am abundant, I have more than enough to share. And that signal attracts more prosperity, more abundance, more wealth. Now, let's talk about your relationship with receiving. This is just as important as giving, maybe even more important. A lot of people are terrible at receiving. They can give all day long, but when someone tries to give to them, they get uncomfortable. They say, oh, you didn't have to do that. They say, oh, that's too much. They say, I can't accept this. Every time you reject a gift, every time you refuse a bed, compliment. Every time you make it hard for the universe to give to you, you're training your aura to repel wealth. You're saying, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve this. Keep it away from me. If you want to attract wealth, you have to learn to receive with grace. When someone gives you a compliment, say thank you. Don't deflect it. Don't downplay it. Just receive it. When someone offers to buy you lunch, let them. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't immediately offer to pay next time. Just receive it with gratitude. When the universe sends you a gift, whether it's a parking space right in front of the store or a check in the mail you weren't expecting, receive it. Say thank you. Feel the gratitude. Let yourself feel worthy of receiving good things. This is training your aura. This is raising your frequency. This is broadcasting to the universe that you are open to receiving abundance in all its forms. And here's what happens when you get good at receiving. The universe gives you more to receive. Because the universe loves a grateful receiver. The universe loves someone who can accept good things without guilt, without shame, without feeling like they don't deserve it. When you can receive with an open heart, you're telling the universe, yes, I'm ready for more. Yes, I can handle more. Yes, I deserve more. Let me tell you about the power of expectation. What you expect in life is what you tend to get. If you expect things to be hard, they will be hard. If you expect people to disappoint you, they will disappoint you. If you expect to struggle with money, you will struggle with money. But if you expect abundance, if you expect prosperity, if you expect wealth to flow to you easily and naturally, then that's what you'll experience. Your expectations create your reality. They shape your perception. They direct your attention. They determine what you notice and what you miss. So ask yourself right now, what do I expect when it comes to money? Do I expect to struggle? Do I expect to just get by? Do I expect to barely make ends meet? Or do I expect to prosper? Do I expect to thrive? Do I expect wealth to come to me in wonderful and unexpected ways? Your honest answer to this question will tell you everything you need to know about why your financial life looks the way it does. And the good news is, you can change your expectations right now. You can decide right now that from this point forward, you expect abundance, you expect prosperity, you expect wealth. And when you change your expectations, you have to change your self-talk. The words you say to yourself matter. They matter more than the words anyone else says to you. Because you're with yourself 24 hours a day. You're listening to your own voice constantly. And if that voice is saying, I'm broke, I'm poor, I never have enough, money slips through my fingers, I'm not good with money, then that's the reality you're creating. That's the signal you're broadcasting. That's what your aura is attracting. But what if you started saying different things to yourself? What if you started saying, I am prosperous. Money flows to me easily. I am a money magnet. I am aligned with the energy of abundance. I am worthy of wealth. I am capable of managing large sums of money. I am financially free. How different would that feel? How different would your energy be if you talked to yourself this way every single day? Your aura would transform, your frequency would rise, your entire experience of life would change. Here's something most people don't realize about wealth. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. And more importantly, it's about your consciousness around money. I've known people who make millions and feel poor. I've known people who make very little and feel rich. The difference is consciousness. The difference is how they see themselves. The difference is the story they tell themselves about money and about their relationship with it. You can have all the money in the world and still have a poverty consciousness. Or you can have very little money and have an abundance consciousness. Which one do you think attracts more wealth? The abundance consciousness always wins. Always. Because it's not attached to the outer circumstances. It knows that abundance is a state of being, not a state of having. It knows that true wealth is about feeling full, feeling satisfied, feeling like you have enough and you are enough. When you operate from that place, when you move through the world with that consciousness, you become magnetic, you attract opportunities, you attract the right people, you attract the right circumstances, you attract wealth. Now, I want to address something that stops a lot of people from attracting wealth: guilt. So many people feel guilty about wanting money. They feel guilty about wanting nice things. They feel guilty about wanting to live comfortably. They think that wanting wealth makes them materialistic or shallow or selfish. And this guilt is like poison to your aura. It contaminates your energy field. It sends mixed signals to the universe. On one hand, you're saying you want wealth. On the other hand, you're saying you shouldn't want wealth. And the universe gets confused. It doesn't know which signal to respond to. So it responds to the stronger signal, which is usually the guilt, the shame, the belief that you don't deserve it. Let me make this clear. There is nothing wrong with wanting wealth. There is nothing wrong with wanting to live in a beautiful home, drive a nice car, travel the world, give generously to causes you believe in, provide for your family, and live a life of comfort and ease. The only question that matters is, why do you want these things? If you want them because you think they'll make you better than other people, if you want them because you're trying to fill a hole inside yourself, if you want them to prove something to someone, then that's coming from ego. That's coming from lack. And that won't lead to true fulfillment. But if you want wealth so you can live your purpose more fully, if you want it so you can serve more people, if you want it so you can enjoy this beautiful life and share your joy with others, if you want it so you can be a living example of what's possible when you align with the abundance of the universe, then that's coming from spirit. That's coming from your highest self. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, the world needs more people who are comfortable with wealth, who can handle wealth, who can use wealth as a tool for good. So release the guilt, release the shame, release the belief that wanting wealth makes you a bad person. It doesn't. What makes you a good or bad person is what you do with the wealth once you have it. And I'm going to trust that if you're listening to these words, if you're open to this message, then you're the kind of person who would use wealth in beautiful ways. You're the kind of person who would be generous. You're the kind of person who would make a positive difference in the world. So let yourself want wealth. Let yourself desire abundance. Let yourself feel worthy of prosperity. Your worthiness is not something you earn. It's not something you have to prove. You are worthy simply because you exist. You are a divine expression of the infinite universe, and the universe wants you to thrive. The universe wants you to prosper. The universe wants you to experience abundance in all its forms. The only thing standing between you and the wealth you desire is your belief that you can't have it, or that you don't deserve it, or that it's not spiritual to want it. These are just thoughts. These are just beliefs. And thoughts and beliefs can be changed. Let me share with you a practice that will transform your aura and magnetize you to wealth. Every morning when you wake up, before you do anything else, take a few moments to feel what it would feel like to already have the wealth you desire. Don't think about it. Don't visualize it. Feel it. Feel what it would feel like to check your bank account and see a number that makes you smile. Feel what it would feel like to pay your bills without stress. Feel what it would feel like to buy something you want without having to check the price. Feel what it would feel like to be generous without worrying about your own needs. Feel what it would feel like to be financially free. Really get into that feeling. Let it fill your entire body. Let it radiate from your cells. Let it expand beyond your skin and fill the space around you. That feeling is changing your aura right now. That feeling is raising your frequency. That feeling is broadcasting a signal to the universe that says, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am prosperous. And the universe, which always responds to your frequency, starts arranging circumstances, people, and opportunities to match that feeling. This is not magic. This is not wishful thinking. This is how energy works. This is how consciousness creates reality. And then, throughout your day, come back to that feeling as often as you can. When you're stuck in traffic, feel wealthy. When you're doing mundane tasks, feel prosperous. When you're interacting with people, feel abundant. The more you can stay in that frequency, the faster you'll see changes in your outer world. Because your outer world is always a reflection of your inner world. Always. No exceptions. Now, I want to talk about action because some people think that this is all just about sitting around and feeling good and waiting for money to fall from the sky. That's not what this is about. Feeling good is essential. Raising your frequency is essential. Training your aura is essential. But you also have to take inspired action. You have to move when you feel moved. You have to act when you feel called. The difference is that when you're operating from an abundance consciousness, your actions are inspired. They're not forced. They're not desperate. They're not driven by fear. They're guided by intuition, by inner knowing, by a sense of rightness. When you're in the right frequency, when your aura is trained to attract wealth, opportunities will present themselves to you. You'll meet the right person at the right time. You'll hear about the perfect opportunity. You'll get an idea that feels exciting and aligned. And when that happens, you have to act. You have to trust. You have to move forward, even if you don't know exactly how it's going to work out. Because the universe rewards action. The universe rewards faith. The universe rewards those who are willing to step into the unknown and trust that they'll be supported. But here's the key. You act from a place of abundance, not from a place of lack. You act because you feel inspired, not because you feel desperate. You act because it feels right, not because you're afraid of what will happen if you don't. This is the difference between hustling and flowing. Hustling is exhausting. It's depleting. It comes from the belief that you have to force things to happen, that you have to make things work through sheer willpower. Flowing is effortless. It's energizing. It comes from the belief that the universe is supporting you, that you're being guided, that things are working out for you. When you flow, you work smarter, not harder. You're in the right place at the right time. You say the right thing to the right person. You have ideas that solve problems in elegant ways. This is what happens when your aura is trained to attract wealth. You become a conduit for abundance. You become a channel through which prosperity flows. And the beautiful thing is that when you're in this state, you don't just attract wealth for yourself, you become a source of abundance for others. You inspire them, you uplift them, you show them what's possible. You become a living example of what it means to be aligned with the infinite abundance of the universe. Let's talk about forgiveness, because this is a crucial piece that many people miss. If you're holding on to resentment, if you're angry at someone who wronged you financially, if you're bitter about past failures or mistakes, you're blocking the flow of abundance. Resentment is like a dam in your energy field. It stops the flow. It creates stagnation. It broadcasts a signal of victimhood, of powerlessness, of life happens to me. And as long as you're broadcasting that signal, you cannot attract wealth. Because wealth requires you to feel powerful, to feel in control of your life, to feel like you're the creator of your reality. So you have to forgive. You have to forgive the person who didn't pay you back. You have to forgive yourself for the financial mistakes you made. You have to forgive your parents for the beliefs about money they passed down to you. You have to forgive the system, the economy, the circumstances that you think held you back. Not because they deserve forgiveness, not because what they did was okay, but because you deserve freedom. You deserve to be free of the weight of resentment. You deserve to have your energy flow freely. You deserve to have a clear, clean aura that can attract all the abundance that's waiting for you. Forgiveness is not about them, it's about you. It's about choosing your freedom over your rightness. It's about choosing your prosperity over your story of victimhood. And when you forgive, when you really let go, you'll feel a shift in your body. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel more open. You'll feel more available for good things to come into your life. That's your aura clearing. That's your frequency rising. That's the dam breaking and the flow resuming. Here's another powerful truth. You are not separate from the universe. You are not separate from the source of all abundance. You are an extension of it. You are an expression of it. The same intelligence that created galaxies and stars and planets and all of life is the intelligence that lives within you. And that intelligence knows how to create wealth. It knows how to attract abundance. It knows how to manifest prosperity. Your job is not to figure out how. Your job is to get out of the way. Your job is to stop blocking the flow with your doubts, your fears, your limiting beliefs, your old stories. Your job is to align yourself with the intelligence that created you, and then let it work through you. This is what it means to train your aura to attract wealth. It's not about learning some technique or trick. It's not about manipulating energy or trying to force the universe to give you what you want. It's about remembering who you are. It's about reconnecting with your source. It's about aligning yourself with the natural flow of abundance that is your birthright. When you do this, when you really get this, everything changes. Your entire life transforms. Not just your bank account, but your relationships, your health, your sense of purpose, your joy, your peace. Everything elevates because you've elevated your consciousness. And here's what I want you to understand. This is not a one-time thing. This is not something you do once and then you're set for life. This is a practice. This is a way of being. This is a daily commitment to choosing abundance over lack, to choosing trust over fear, to choosing love over judgment. Some days will be easier than others. Some days you'll feel connected and aligned and magnetic. Other days you'll feel disconnected and doubtful and discouraged. That's okay. That's part of being human. The key is to not give up. The key is to keep coming back to the practices that raise your frequency. The key is to be patient with yourself and trust the process. Because the process works. It works for everyone who applies it. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter how much debt you have or how little money is in your account right now. It doesn't matter what your background is or what your education level is or what anyone has told you about your potential. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is your willingness to change your consciousness, your willingness to train your aura, your willingness to align yourself with the abundance that is your true nature. And when you do this, when you really commit to this, you'll start to notice synchronicities. You'll start to notice coincidences that are too perfect to be random. You'll start to notice doors opening that you didn't even know existed. You'll start to notice money coming to you from unexpected sources. Someone will offer you a job. A client will show up. An idea will come to you. An investment will pay off. A debt will be forgiven. Something will happen that wouldn't have happened if you hadn't changed your energy. That's your aura attracting wealth. That's the universe responding to your new frequency. Let me tell you what wealth really is. It's not a number in a bank account. It's not a house or a car or a vacation. Those are just symbols of wealth. True wealth is a state of consciousness. It's the feeling of being enough. It's the feeling of having enough. It's the feeling of being connected to an infinite source that will always provide for you. When you have that feeling, when you live from that place, the outer symbols of wealth follow naturally. They have to. Because the outer world always conforms to the inner world. This is not a maybe. This is not a sometimes. This is always. This is law. This is how the universe works. So stop chasing money. Start raising your consciousness. Stop trying to get wealth. Start being wealthy in your mind, in your heart, in your energy field. Stop looking outside yourself for the answer. Start looking inside yourself for the source. Because the source is there. It's always been there. It's waiting for you to recognize it, to acknowledge it, to align with it. And when you do, when you really tap into that infinite source within you, you'll realize that you've never been separate from abundance. You've never been lacking. You've never been poor. You've just been focused on the wrong thing. You've been focused on what you don't have instead of what you already have. You've been focused on the form instead of the substance. You've been focused on the outer instead of the inner. Turn your attention inward. Feel the abundance that's already within you. Feel the wealth of your being. Feel the prosperity of your spirit. Feel the richness of your consciousness. You are not a body that has a soul. You are a soul that has a body. And your soul is connected to everything, to everyone, to the entire universe. Your soul knows no lack. Your soul knows no limitation. Your soul is pure abundance. When you identify with your soul instead of your circumstances, everything changes. Your aura changes. Your frequency changes. Your life changes. This is the message I want you to take with you today. You are abundant. You are prosperous. You are wealthy beyond measure, not because of what you have, but because of what you are. You are an infinite being, having a temporary human experience. You are a divine expression of the creative force of the universe. You are worthy of all good things. You are deserving of wealth, health, love, joy, peace, and everything else your heart desires, not because you've earned it, not because you've worked hard enough, but simply because you exist, simply because you are. Train your aura to broadcast this truth. Train your mind to think from this truth. Train your heart to feel from this truth. Train your actions to come from this truth. And watch what happens. Watch how your life transforms. Watch how opportunities appear. Watch how money flows. Watch how abundance becomes your natural state. Because it is your natural state, it's who you've always been. You've just forgotten, but now you're remembering. And that remembering is changing everything. The universe is abundant. You are the universe. Therefore, you are abundant. It's that simple. Let go of everything that contradicts this truth. Let go of every belief, every thought, every feeling, every story that says you can't have wealth, you don't deserve wealth, you're not capable of wealth. Those are lies. Those are illusions. Those are programs you inherited from people who didn't know any better. But you know better now. You know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The truth will make you wealthy, not just financially, but in every way that matters. So go forth from this moment with a new consciousness. Go forth with a new energy. Go forth with a new aura that is trained to attract wealth in all its forms. Know that you are supported. Know that you are guided. Know that you are loved by a universe that wants nothing more than for you to thrive. Trust this. Believe this. Live from this. And watch your entire life become a testament to the infinite abundance that is your true nature. You are wealthy. You always have been. You always will be. Now claim it, own it, embody it. And let your aura shine with the unmistakable frequency of prosperity, abundance, and wealth. Right now, in this very moment, you are exactly where you need to be. I know that might sound strange, especially if you're going through difficult times, especially if you feel lost or confused or wondering how you ended up here. But I want you to understand something fundamental about life, about your life specifically. There are no accidents. There are no mistakes in the universe. Everything that has brought you to this point has been necessary for your growth, for your evolution, for your awakening. You see, most of us spend our entire lives fighting against what is. We resist our current circumstances. We tell ourselves stories about how things should be different, how we should be further along, how we should have made better choices. And all of that resistance, all of that struggle against what is, creates suffering. It creates anxiety. It creates this sense that we're not good enough, that we're behind somehow, that we've failed. But what if I told you that where you are right now is perfect? What if I told you that every single experience you've had, every heartbreak, every failure, every moment of doubt has been preparing you for something magnificent? What if this very moment right now is the doorway to a completely new way of living? You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to know the next 10 steps. You don't need to see the whole staircase. All you need to do is take one step. And that step begins with acceptance. Not resignation, mind you, but acceptance. There's a huge difference. Resignation says, I give up. This is all there is. Acceptance says, this is where I am, and from here I can begin again. Think about a seed buried in the ground. That seed doesn't resist the darkness. It doesn't complain about being underground, about not being able to see the sun. The seed uses that darkness, that pressure, that difficult environment to transform itself. And one day, at exactly the right moment, it breaks through the soil and begins to grow toward the light. You are that seed. Your difficult times, your struggles, your moments of darkness, they're not punishments. They're the very conditions necessary for your transformation. Now, I want to talk to you about something that most people misunderstand completely. They think that change happens when you force it, when you push and struggle and fight your way through. But real change, lasting change, happens when you relax into it, when you stop resisting what is and start working with it instead. You've been trying so hard, haven't you? Trying to be someone different, trying to fix yourself, trying to become worthy of love or success or happiness. But here's the truth that will set you free. You already are worthy. You don't need to earn your worth. You were born worthy. You came into this world as a perfect expression of life itself, and nothing you've done or failed to do has changed that fundamental truth. The problem is that somewhere along the way you started believing the stories that other people told you about who you should be. Your parents had ideas. Your teachers had expectations. Society created rules about what success looks like, what happiness should feel like, how you should live your life, and slowly, gradually, you began to abandon yourself. You began to live according to someone else's blueprint instead of your own. But your spirit, your true self, has been calling to you all along. Every moment of dissatisfaction you've felt, every time you've thought, there must be more than this, that was your authentic self trying to get your attention. And maybe that's why you're here right now in this moment feeling whatever you're feeling. Maybe you've reached a point where you simply can't continue living the old way anymore. And you know what? That's beautiful. That's not a crisis. That's an awakening. When the old ways stop working, when the masks we've been wearing start to feel suffocating, when we can't pretend anymore, that's when real transformation becomes possible. That's when we're finally ready for a new beginning. So let me ask you something. What would happen if you just stopped struggling for a moment? What would happen if you took a deep breath and said, okay, this is where I am. I don't have to like it, but I can stop fighting it. What would happen if you gave yourself permission to be exactly where you are without judgment, without criticism, without shame? I'll tell you what would happen. You'd create space for something new to come in, space for clarity, space for inspiration, space for the universe to work on your behalf. Because here's something most people don't understand. When you're constantly struggling and straining and trying to force things to happen, you're actually blocking the flow of good into your life. You're like someone standing in a river, pushing against the current, exhausting yourself, when all you need to do is turn around and let the river carry you. This doesn't mean you become passive. This doesn't mean you stop taking action. It means you align yourself with the natural flow of life instead of fighting against it. It means you learn to move with grace instead of force. It means you trust the process. And trust, that's a big word, isn't it? Trust is hard, especially if you've been hurt, especially if things haven't worked out the way you planned. But trust isn't about knowing everything will be okay. Trust is about knowing that whatever happens, You have the strength within you to handle it. Trust is about remembering that you've survived every difficult moment in your life so far. You've had your heart broken, and you survived. You've faced disappointments, and you survived. You've been through dark nights of the soul, and yet here you are, still breathing, still capable of growth, still capable of love. That's not weakness. That's incredible strength. And that strength is still within you right now. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just been covered up by fear and doubt and all those voices telling you that you're not enough. But you are enough. Right now, exactly as you are enough. You don't need to wait until you lose weight or make more money or find the perfect relationship or achieve some goal. Your worthiness is inherent. It's not dependent on external circumstances. It's not something you earn. It's something you are. And when you really understand this, when you really feel this truth in your bones, everything changes. Because you stop seeking validation from outside yourself. You stop giving your power away to other people's opinions. You stop living your life according to someone else's standards. And you start living from the inside out instead of the outside in. This is what I mean by a new beginning. A new beginning isn't about changing your circumstances, although your circumstances might change as a result. A new beginning is about changing your relationship with yourself and with life itself. It's about coming home to who you really are underneath all the conditioning and programming and fear. And who are you really? You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your past mistakes or your future worries. You are not the roles you play or the labels other people have given you. You are pure awareness. You are consciousness itself, temporarily wearing a human costume, having a human experience. When you identify with your true nature, when you recognize yourself as this vast, eternal awareness, all your problems become smaller. They don't disappear necessarily, but they lose their power over you because you realize that you're not the character in the story struggling with all these difficulties. You're the one watching the story unfold. You're the space in which the story happens. This isn't just philosophy. This has practical implications for your daily life. When you're identified with your thoughts and emotions, when you think you are your story, then everything feels personal. Every criticism wounds you. Every setback devastates you. Every fear consumes you. But when you recognize that you're the awareness witnessing all of this, you gain distance. You gain perspective. You can watch your thoughts without being controlled by them. You can feel your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. And from that place of awareness, from that place of inner stillness, you can make much better choices. You can respond to life instead of reacting to it. You can act from wisdom instead of fear. You can create your life intentionally instead of just letting it happen to you. So how do you get to that place? How do you access that awareness? You do it by becoming present. Right now, as you're reading these words, bring your attention to your breathing. Feel the breath moving in and out of your body. Notice the sensation of air moving through your nostrils. Feel your chest rising and falling. That's it. That's all you need to do. When you bring your attention to your breath, you automatically become present. You step out of the endless stream of thoughts about the past and the future, and you land in the only moment that actually exists, this one. And in this moment, right now, are you okay? I'm not asking if your life is perfect. I'm not asking if all your problems are solved. I'm asking right now, in this actual moment, are you fundamentally okay? You're breathing. You're aware. You're alive. And in this moment, that's enough. The suffering we experience doesn't usually come from what's happening in the present moment. It comes from our thoughts about what happened in the past or what might happen in the future. It comes from comparing our current reality to some idealized version of how things should be. It comes from resisting what is and wishing things were different. But what if you could just be with what is? What if you could meet this moment exactly as it presents itself without trying to change it or fix it or escape from it? What if you could bring a gentle curiosity to your experience instead of harsh judgment? When you do this, something miraculous happens. The struggle eases, the tension releases. And in that relaxation, in that softening, you create the conditions for change to occur naturally. Because change doesn't come from force, change comes from love. It comes from acceptance. It comes from being present with what is so fully and completely that transformation happens on its own. Think about it. Have you ever tried to force yourself to change something about yourself through self-criticism and judgment? How did that work out? Did beating yourself up make you more motivated or less? Did hating your body make you healthier? Did judging your past mistakes make you wiser? Probably not, because change that comes from a place of self-rejection isn't sustainable. It creates more of the same negative energy that caused the problem in the first place. But when you approach yourself with compassion, with understanding, with genuine care for your own well-being, everything shifts. You start making choices that honor yourself instead of harm yourself. You start treating yourself the way you would treat someone you truly loved. And from that place of self-love, real change becomes not only possible, but inevitable. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I've made such terrible mistakes. I've hurt people. I've wasted so much time. How can I just accept that and move on? And I hear you. I understand that guilt and regret. But staying stuck in guilt doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the people you hurt. It doesn't help you. And it certainly doesn't make the world a better place. What helps is learning from your mistakes and choosing differently going forward. What helps is making amends where possible and forgiving yourself where it's not. What helps is understanding that you did the best you could with the level of awareness you had at the time. And now you have more awareness. Now you can choose differently. Now you can be the person you wish you had been then. Every moment is a new beginning. Every breath is a chance to start fresh. You don't have to wait for New Year's Day or Monday morning or some perfect moment in the future. You can begin again right now, right here, exactly where you are. And beginning again doesn't mean denying your past or pretending it didn't happen. It means integrating your past, learning from it, and using it as fuel for your growth. Every difficult experience you've had has given you wisdom. Every failure has taught you something valuable. Every heartbreak has deepened your capacity for compassion. Nothing has been wasted. It's all been part of your education in being human. So what does your new beginning look like? Only you can answer that. But I can tell you this, it starts with a decision. A decision to stop waiting for perfect conditions. A decision to stop making excuses. A decision to take responsibility for your life, not in a way that blames you for everything that's happened, but in a way that empowers you to create what happens next. Because you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a creator. You might not be able to control everything that happens to you, but you can absolutely control how you respond to it. You can control the meaning you give to events. You can control the thoughts you choose to believe. You can control the actions you take. And that's where your power lies. Not in trying to control external events, but in taking full responsibility for your internal state. When you realize that no person, no circumstance, no past event has the power to determine your worth or your happiness, you become free, truly free. This freedom comes from understanding a simple but profound truth. You are not your circumstances. You are the one experiencing your circumstances. And you have the power to change your relationship with whatever you're experiencing. You have the power to find peace in the midst of chaos. You have the power to find joy even when things aren't perfect. You have the power to love yourself even when you feel unlovable. How do you develop this power? Through practice, through showing up for yourself day after day, through choosing presence over distraction, through choosing love over fear, through choosing faith over doubt. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. And let me be clear, this isn't about positive thinking or pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is about being honest with yourself about where you are while simultaneously holding a vision for where you want to go. It's about acknowledging your current reality without getting lost in it. It's about feeling your feelings fully while remembering that you are not your feelings. You are the space in which feelings arise and pass away. Everything passes. This is one of the most important things you can understand. Whatever you're going through right now, it will change. It might not change as quickly as you'd like. It might not change in the way you expect, but it will change. Because change is the only constant in life. Everything is in motion. Everything is evolving. Everything is becoming. And you are becoming too. Every experience is shaping you. Every challenge is strengthening you. Every moment of darkness is preparing you to appreciate the light. You are not the same person you were a year ago or even yesterday. You are constantly evolving, constantly growing, constantly becoming more of who you really are. So, relax. Take a breath. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You just have to be willing to show up for your own life, to be present, to be honest, to be kind to yourself. Because here's what I've learned after all these years of studying human behavior, of working with thousands of people, of observing my own journey. The people who are truly happy, the people who are truly at peace, are not the ones who have perfect lives. They're the ones who have learned to work with whatever life brings them. They're the ones who have developed a strong relationship with themselves. They're the ones who know that their worth is not dependent on external validation. These people understand that happiness is not a destination to arrive at. It's not something you achieve once you get the right job or the right partner or the right amount of money. Happiness is a way of traveling. It's a choice you make in each moment. It's a practice, not a prize. And peace, real peace, doesn't come from having everything under control. It comes from accepting that you're not in control and learning to trust the process anyway. It comes from surrendering your need to know how everything will work out and being willing to take one step at a time into the unknown. The unknown is scary, I get it. We've been taught to fear uncertainty, to always have a plan, to know what's coming next. But the unknown is also where all possibilities live. It's where miracles happen. It's where transformation occurs. When you can learn to be comfortable with not knowing, when you can learn to stay present in the uncertainty, you open yourself up to opportunities that you couldn't have planned for or predicted. Life has a way of working out. Not always in the way you expect, but often in ways that are better than you could have imagined. But you have to be willing to let go of your rigid expectations about how things should unfold. You have to be willing to be surprised. You have to be willing to trust that there's an intelligence at work in the universe that's far greater than your limited human perspective. Some people call this intelligence God. Some call it the universe or source or higher power. The name doesn't matter. What matters is recognizing that you're not alone in this. You're not separate from life. You're an integral part of it. And just as your body knows how to heal a cut without your conscious intervention, just as nature knows how to grow a tree from a seed, there's a knowing within you, a wisdom that can guide you if you learn to listen to it. That inner wisdom speaks to you through your intuition, through your gut feelings, through those quiet nudges that tell you when something is right or wrong for you. But most of us have learned to ignore that voice. We've learned to trust external authorities more than our own inner knowing. We've learned to doubt ourselves, to second-guess our instincts, to look outside ourselves for answers that can only be found within. Your new beginning involves learning to trust yourself again. It involves quieting the noise of external opinions and expectations so you can hear your own truth. It involves asking yourself, what do I really want? What really matters to me? What kind of life do I want to create? And then having the courage to honor those answers, even if they don't match what other people think you should do. This takes courage, real courage, because it's much easier to follow the well-worn path that others have traveled. It's much safer to do what's expected, to fit in, to not rock the boat. But safe isn't always healthy, and fitting in often means abandoning yourself. And the boat sometimes needs to be rocked. You were not born to live a small life. You were not born to play small, to hide your light, to settle for less than what your soul is calling you toward. You were born to express your unique gifts in the world. You were born to love and be loved. You were born to grow and evolve and become more conscious. You were born to make a difference in some way, large or small, and the world needs you to step into that. The world needs your unique perspective, your creativity, your compassion, your courage. There are people whose lives will be touched by you in ways you can't even foresee right now. There are contributions you're meant to make that only you can make. But none of that can happen if you're stuck in the past, paralyzed by fear, or waiting for perfect conditions that will never come. So what are you waiting for? What's holding you back? Is it fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough? Whatever it is, I want you to understand something. That fear is not your enemy. That fear is just a part of you that's trying to keep you safe. It's the part of you that remembers getting hurt in the past and doesn't want to experience that pain again. But you can acknowledge that fear without letting it run your life. You can say to that fearful part of yourself, "Thank you for trying to protect me. I see you. I hear you. But I'm not in danger right now, and I'm choosing to move forward anyway." You can feel the fear and do it anyway. You can be scared and brave at the same time. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and taking action despite it. Courage is knowing you might fail and trying anyway. Courage is risking rejection in order to live authentically. Courage is choosing to be vulnerable even though you might get hurt. And yes, you might fail. You might make mistakes. You might fall flat on your face. So what? You've failed before and you survived. You've made mistakes before and you learned from them. You've fallen down before and you got back up. Failure is not fatal. It's just feedback. It's just information about what doesn't work so you can try something different. The only real failure is not trying at all. The only real mistake is letting fear keep you from living the life you're meant to live. The only real tragedy is getting to the end of your life and realizing you never really lived, you only existed. And I don't want that for you. I want you to really live. I want you to feel deeply, to love fully, to take risks, to make mistakes, to learn, to grow, to express yourself, to follow your curiosity, to honor your passions, to be authentic, to be vulnerable, to be real, because that's what life is about. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having all the answers. It's not about avoiding pain or difficulty. It's about showing up fully for the whole human experience, the joy and the sorrow, the triumphs and the defeats, the connection and the loneliness, all of it. And when you show up fully, when you stop holding back, when you stop playing it safe, something magical happens. Life meets you there, opportunities appear, synchronicities occur. The right people show up at the right time. Resources become available. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. But none of that can happen when you're playing small, when you're hiding, when you're waiting for permission or for perfect conditions. It only happens when you take that first step, even though you're scared, even though you don't know exactly where it will lead, even though you can't see the whole path. You only need to see the next step. That's all, just one step at a time. And each step you take gives you a clearer view of the next step. You don't need the whole map. You just need to start moving. And as you start moving, as you start taking action aligned with your true self, you'll notice something interesting. You'll start to feel more alive, more energized, more present, more connected to yourself and to life itself. Because you'll be living in alignment with your soul's purpose instead of fighting against it. Your soul knows why you're here. Your soul knows what you came here to learn, to experience, to contribute. And when you align with that, when you stop trying to force your life into some predetermined mold and instead allow it to unfold naturally, everything becomes easier. Not necessarily easy, but easier. More flowing, more graceful. You start to trust the process. You start to see that even the difficult times have purpose. You start to recognize that everything is working together for your highest good, even when you can't see how. You start to relax into life instead of constantly fighting against it. And that relaxation, that surrender, that's not weakness, that's wisdom, that's maturity. That's the hallmark of someone who's learned that control is an illusion and that true power comes from working with life instead of against it. So right now, in this moment, I invite you to take a breath and just relax. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax your mind. You don't have to figure everything out right now. You don't have to solve all your problems today. You just have to be here, now, present, and available to this moment. And from this place of relaxed presence, ask yourself, what is one small thing I could do today that would honor myself? What is one small choice I could make that would be aligned with who I want to become? What is one small step I could take toward the life I want to create? It doesn't have to be a big thing. In fact, it's better if it's small, because small, consistent actions create lasting change. Small steps taken every day will carry you further than big leaps taken once in a while. The key is consistency. The key is showing up for yourself day after day, moment after moment, choice after choice. And some days will be easier than others. Some days you'll feel motivated and inspired and ready to take on the world. Other days you'll feel tired and discouraged and tempted to give up. That's okay. That's normal. That's part of being human. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going. On the hard days, be especially gentle with yourself. On the days when you feel like you're not making progress, remember how far you've come. On the days when you want to give up, remember why you started. On the days when you feel alone, remember that you're part of something much bigger than yourself. You are connected to all of life. You are supported by forces you can't see. You are loved by a universe that brought you into existence for a reason. You matter. Your life matters. Your choices matter. What you do with this one precious life of yours matters. And it's never too late to begin again. It doesn't matter how old you are, how many mistakes you've made, how much time you think you've wasted. Right now is a new beginning. Right now is when your life can change. Right now is when you can choose differently. So choose love over fear. Choose presence over distraction. Choose action over procrastination. Choose authenticity over pretense. Choose growth over comfort. Choose faith over doubt. Choose yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a way that honors the truth of who you are and why you're here. Because when you honor yourself, when you live from your truth, when you align with your purpose, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage inspires courage in others. Your authenticity gives others permission to be authentic. Your willingness to be vulnerable makes it safer for others to be vulnerable. You change the world by changing yourself. And that's what this moment is offering you. A chance to change, a chance to begin again, a chance to step into a new way of being. Not someday in the future when conditions are perfect, but right now, exactly as you are, exactly where you are. You are exactly where you need to be for a new beginning. All the experiences that brought you here have prepared you for this moment. All the lessons you've learned have given you the wisdom you need. All the challenges you've faced have given you the strength you need. You have everything you need right now to take the next step. So relax, breathe, trust. You've got this. Not because you're perfect or because you have it all figured out, but because you're willing to show up. You're willing to try. You're willing to grow. You're willing to begin again. And that willingness, that openness, that's all you need. The rest will unfold in its own time, in its own way. Your job is not to control the outcome. Your job is to show up fully for the process, to be present, to be authentic, to be kind to yourself and others, to do your best and trust that your best is enough. Because it is enough. You are enough. Right now, exactly as you are enough. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. Not because you have all the answers, but because you're willing to ask the questions. Not because you've arrived, but because you're willing to take the journey. And what a journey it is. What an adventure. What a gift to be alive, to be conscious, to be here now in this moment with infinite possibilities stretching out before you. Yes, there will be challenges. Yes, there will be difficulties. But there will also be joy and love and beauty and connection and growth and moments of pure magic that take your breath away. So relax into it. Trust it. Allow it. You are exactly where you need to be. Everything is unfolding perfectly. Your new beginning is here, right now, in this very moment. All you have to do is say yes. Yes to yourself. Yes to life. Yes to the adventure that's calling you forward. The time is now. The place is here. The person is you. This is your moment. This is your new beginning. Take it, own it, live it, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. You've got this, you really do, and I believe in you, even if you don't quite believe in yourself yet. Trust that belief. Let it carry you forward until you can feel it for yourself, and know that you're not alone. You never have been, you never will be. You are supported, you are guided, you are loved, always. So take that breath. Take that step. Begin again, right here, right now, exactly where you are. This is it. This is your time. Make it count.